Welcome back to the Commercial Real Estate Show. I'm Michael Bull. Today we're talking about industrial real estate in the U.S. We're going to talk about some occupier strategies. We have Dane Pryor with us, a partner with Panattoni, and Sim Dowdy with King Industrial, both here in Studio One joining me. And guys, there's been a lot of talk about industrial manufacturing coming back to the U.S. Dane, what are you really seeing?
We are seeing some of that. I'm not an economist, but what I hear is that the labor disparity or labor cost disparity is narrowing between Asia and the U.S. and certainly the intellectual property rights are much more protected here in the U.S. So some of that manufacturing is coming back for those reasons.
Yeah, and we also have a lot of consumers here, right?
We have a lot of consumers. Well, there's been a lot of changes to the manufacturing process, and that has helped bring it back. Manufacturing is still labor intensive, but not as much labor intensive, and so the labor costs have been lowered because they introduced robotics and technology to the process. It used to be robots would lift heavy car parts or whatever, and now they're screwing in screws. A person used to do that. So now manufacturing plants, the modern plants, employees got to have technical skills, ability to utilize computers, robotics, and robots are less likely to make a mistake. And so you see these states are also recruiting them because the jobs pay well. And the states are offering one thing, to help them get employees. They'll find them, screen them, test them, and train new employees for free. They'll also do infrastructure like roads and utilities for free, maybe free land in some cases. They also will pay firms like $3,500 per employee as an incentive for 5 years to bring those jobs there. So, energy costs are going down, labor costs are going down, and transportation costs, if they onshore, transportation costs are going down because they're not having to ship it.
Right.
All right. So they don't have to worry about ports, strikes in the ports or bad weather. So manufacturing is definitely coming back.
And also the utilities, right? The power, the gas,
the power is a lot. It's more expensive. It's not expensive now. It's gone down. It's more reliable too. It's very important. Some of the states have passed laws to where they can phase out the sales tax on the manufacturing cost of the power. And so that's been a huge savings as well.
Yeah. And the incentives you mentioned there, that a lot of these cities and states are supplying a lot of incentives. That's a big part of industrial real estate, isn't it, for these occupiers looking for the right location?
It is. I mean, we're looking at a project right now that's between 3 states. They've got one site between each of the 3 states, and it's just an incentives game for them to work the states for the best incentives, and you're seeing that a lot as companies or manufacturing firms are relocating from the Northeast to the South, and these states are very, very astute at how to attract these businesses and provide the incentives that they need to get here.
And what states would you say are kind of ahead of the curve that seem to be winning more of these manufacturing and other industrial tenants?
We're seeing Tennessee is very astute on this on the incentives piece. South Carolina and Georgia all compete very well. Alabama has been in the mix on several manufacturing deals. So those 4 I think are the leaders in what we see in our markets.
Mm-hmm.
It really comes down to how many jobs you create and what they pay. And so distribution, the normal distribution, they don't hire that many people, they don't pay them that well, so they don't offer them a lot of incentives. Manufacturing pays well, also e-commerce pays well, and those are going to be long-term jobs because they make such big investments in their infrastructure and all that. They're not going to move very soon. So, states are going after them very heavy, and they're competing against each other.
Okay. What tips would you guys provide to a state or a city that's trying to win a manufacturer or another industrial type of users? What kind of things should they think about? What kind of incentives, and what should they avoid? What have they done wrong that's kept them from winning the right tenant?
I think the training program, the Quick Start program that Georgia has is a very attractive feature. We've heard that from some of our tenants that training piece has become an important part of their selection process, that they can have the state or a technical school train their people to go into the work into the manufacturing place. So that's been a very attractive feature for the Georgia program.
Okay. And then also, I guess, when you bring in, say, a car manufacturing, they're bringing their plant here, that's going to spur a lot of other tenants and business and jobs around it, isn't it, Sim?
Yeah, suppliers are huge. In fact, many times they'll create more jobs than the automaker will. And also, just to amplify what Dane said, when they offer to train these employees and find them and all that, I talked to a manufacturer that is a supplier for Kia and a bunch of others that anywhere from 40 to 60% of the people they interview can't pass the drug test or the background test. So if the state takes that off of them, just think of the money and time and efforts that save that manufacturer.
Wow, I'm glad I didn't have to pass that test to get this job. Just kidding, Mom. All right, so stay with us. We'll have more on the industrial market. I'm Michael Bull. This is the Commercial Real Estate Show. We'll be right back.
The Commercial Real Estate Show is brought to you by Florida International University and Bull Realty Commercial Brokerage, a great place to do business. For more information on these companies or to access additional podcasts, videos, or blogs, visit commercialrealestateshow.com.